Hi everyone, welcome back to the Strawberry Lowly channel. So I bought more makeup from the drugstore, surprise surprise, but as you can see from the title, there is this one particular shade that really just caught my eye and stood out to me this time. It is this pinky beige situation that I have on my lids right now. I'm absolutely obsessed. I feel like I just found my perfect go-to everyday neutral winter look. This pinky beige situation. Don't take a shot every time I say that, okay? I'm warning you right now. I'm gonna be saying it a lot in this video. It hits that perfect sweet spot between pink, which I'm always in the mood for, and just a really nice neutral beigey undertone. The mixture of those two, I find it just blends in so well with my natural skin tone, and I'm absolutely in love. So what prompted this seemingly random urge, you know, the feminine urge for a one swipe, one and done, not quite warm, not quite cool tone, just somewhere in the middle of the road, wearable pinky beige basic look? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's just basic. Maybe she just doesn't have the time or the energy this Christmas, okay? This Christmas. Okay, I don't want to say too much because like truly nothing has been decided yet, and by that I mean I haven't made any decisions yet. Honestly, I really need to stop being wishy-washy and just make up my mind, but I can't for the life of me, and it's kind of driving me crazy right now. So not to get too off topic, but for now I'll just say that there is a possibility of me changing up my work lifestyle in the near future. Right now, many of you know I'm lucky enough to work 100% remotely from home, which is amazing, and I'm grateful for every single day. It is like my ideal, you know, if I have to work a day job, this is my ideal right now, to be honest, as far as the working style goes. 100% remote, no obligation whatsoever to go into the office, even though we do technically have a physical office. I don't want to go there. I don't want to deal with the trains or other people. I don't want to have to suffer through 8 hours chained to a desk in an office that is not comfortable as my own home when I'm going through period pains every month and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think there's a lot of merit in my current situation. Like, there's not necessarily a need for change, but that being said, there is a possibility that I might have to switch soon to only partially remote working conditions, meaning I would have to go into the office like 3 times a week maybe, and the rest of the time stay at home, which is honestly giving me a little bit of hesitation. But there's other benefits, obviously. Like, there's always pros and cons to every situation, and this does seem like a good opportunity overall. So anyway, that being the dilemma that I'm in right now, you know, it's a good problem to have, so I'm not complaining. I think my mind is subconsciously already trying to prepare me for the potentially new 3 days a week in the office scenario that I might find myself in the near future. Yeah, I think subconsciously I've been trying to seek out a way to simplify or create for myself as short and efficient of a makeup routine as possible without sacrificing the level of glam that I typically am used to or happy with whenever I go out of the house, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So as a result, I naturally found myself gravitating towards this perfect pinky beige neutrally shade on my last few trips to the drugstore, so much so that I bought not only 1 but 2 eyeshadows from 2 different brands in the same shade, essentially. This is just proof that I buy the same thing over and over again on this channel. Like, we're not even trying to hide it by this point. So I actually have both on my eyes right now, 1 on each. We have the new Eyecolor Magician liquid eyeshadow by Canmake. It comes in this packaging right here. I wish the actual tube had the same design as the outside plastic packaging, the heart motif on the outer packaging, which I think is really cute. However, the tube itself is plain, which I think is kind of a shame, kind of a missed opportunity there. But at the same time, I understand they have to cut costs somewhere. So anyway, this one is in shade 04, Awai Yokan. They translate it to light prediction on the English website, but I think faint premonition is a more accurate translation. Side note, there is an old school Duran Gray song called Yokan Premonition that I used to be obsessed with in high school. On the other eye, I have the Visee Glossy Eye Veil in PK3 Veil Pink. It comes in this very simple but elegant looking glass jar. Actually, I think it's just heavy duty plastic, but nevertheless, it's very simple and elegant and discreet. And it's the same kind of pinky beige shade, except just in a more ColourPop Super Shock-like formula. It's kind of like a mousse, I don't know, putty, but quite hard on the drier side, but not in a bad way. I'm just trying to describe the texture, and I don't think I'm doing a good job. When you press down on it, it's like a marshmallow, right? Your fingers leave kind of an indent, but it's hard, you know? It's not like, it doesn't crumble at the slightest touch. Can you guys guess which shadow is on which eye? I will insert a clip of when everything was freshly applied, because right now I've had this makeup on for 8+ hours, so things are disintegrating at this point. But here's what the fresh application looks like. Pause the video and guess right now which one is on which eye. Which one is the Visee and which one is the Canmake? And I will tell you the answer in a second. Okay, are you ready? Drum roll, please. So on my right eye is actually the Canmake, and on my left eye is the Visee. Do they not look exactly the same? Okay, granted I did deepen up both eyes on the outer and inner corners to create a halo effect with this burgundy brown color from this Canmake palette here. But the center of my lids are just that one layer of the single shadows. So yeah, I was kind of shocked that in the final look, the two pinky beige shades look literally almost identical on the lids, because they look so different when swatched on the back of my hand. You can see here the Canmake looks so much deeper and just a completely different shade almost. But I guess when you blend both out to like a medium sheer opacity, they have the same effect on the lids. If you look really, really closely, I would say that the Canmake has a slightly higher glitter quotient than the Visee. The Visee has more subdued glitters, and the Visee looks glossier in general, hence the very fitting name, Glossy Eye Veil. It's not that the Canmake looks necessarily dry or anything. I think both are really nice, but there is something about, like, I guess the extra glitter there. It can look a little grittier, or I guess you could say rougher, especially if you're not careful and if you apply too much. I think it's mostly because there's like more glitter in there. So yeah, comparatively speaking, I do think I like the Visee just marginally better, because it has ever so slightly more of that wet glossy look that I prefer. I think it just looks slightly more high class, more expensive. So if these two weren't enough, I remembered that I also have a third liquid shadow that I already own in my collection from RMK, and that is the Stone with Eyes in 04 Natural Mood. This one is a little bit different than the other two in that it definitely is an icier shade of pale pink. There's less of that beige tone in here, and also it doesn't have actual glitter particles in it. It just has an even metallic sheen throughout. But I think that the overall vibe and functionality is very similar to the other two. So I realized that by owning all three of these eyeshadows now, I essentially have like a single eyeshadow pinky beige option in every price point available. Hence the concept for this video. I know, I am just an artistic genius out here. So to round up everything, I give you from the least expensive to most expensive of the pinky beige Japanese liquid slash cream eyeshadows. Starting at the lowest price point, you have the Canmake Eyecolor Magician for 748 yen. Then we move to mid-range, which would be the Visee Glossy Eye Veil at 1,320 yen. Although if you think about it, technically the Visee has more product. You get 5 grams of product in this jar as opposed to only 3.6 from the Canmake tube. So unit price wise, I think these two actually are pretty similar, but as a whole, like if you're talking about the brand in general, Visee is slightly more expensive than Canmake. Then finally we have the super bougie highest end of the price spectrum, the RMK Stone with Eyes at 3,850 yen. Now when I double checked the RMK price for this video, I have to say I was a little bit shook, because I thought I remembered this being like 3,200 yen or something after taxes. All of the prices I listed today are after tax. So I thought it was like 3,000 yen or something, but no, it's actually a whopping 3,850 yen. Almost 4,000 yen for a single eyeshadow. What? Basically, I could buy 5 of the Canmake shadows in place for this one shadow from RMK. Like, that's ridiculous. Now you know why I stopped buying RMK. And it's even more ridiculous when you consider that if I had to rank all 3 of the shadows that I introduced today, based on several different factors like formula, ease of use, portability, etc., I would actually put RMK at the bottom. Yeah, sorry, but not sorry. Just because I don't think that this is actually the easiest formula to work with. It is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but you don't have that much time before it dries down actually, so you have to work fast to blend it out. And sometimes even when I move quickly and all of that, I still feel like I cannot get it to quite blend out as evenly as I want. I don't know if it's because the formula dried out a little bit since I first purchased it. I mean, this is not that old. This is actually my 2nd tube of this particular eyeshadow, so I definitely haven't had this for even a year yet. And anyway, I feel like for almost 4,000 yen, there is really no excuse for it to dry out even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I mean, I feel like it should be doing extra, like doing my taxes or something at that price point. So yeah, who is really surprised though that the most expensive option got ranked last? Isn't that always how it works out? Then I would rank Canmake as number 2, a close second though to number 1, which is obviously the only one that's left, the Visee Glossy Eye Veil. Only because, like I mentioned before, these two are like 98% pretty much identical on the lids, but I do feel like there is just slightly more subtlety and nuance in this Visee formula than there is within the Canmake. I feel like the Visee formula just gives you that slightly wetter, glossier look, and there's not a surplus of glitter in it, so you get that great contrast between like having a really diffused, cloudy looking base color and then the sparser sprinkling of glitter on top to give it that dimension once everything is blended out. I feel like the Canmake, although very, very similar and very beautiful in its own right, it is just missing that tiny bit of nuance and dimensionality that the Visee formula brings. So there you have it. That is my new pinky beige eyeshadow obsession that I just felt like I had to tell the world about. I lost count of the amount of times that I said pinky beige in this video. You know, whenever I say pinky beige, all I can think about is that Netflix show starring Cillian Murphy, Peaky Blinders, which I've never actually watched before, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'm still undecided. The only reason that Peaky Blinders is randomly on my radar now is because I just finished watching this film Legend that was released in 2015 about these twin brother gangsters in London. It's a true story. They were like gangsters in London in the 1950s and 60s. I actually never heard of this movie before either. It was randomly recommended to me as I was scrolling through. It was either Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, which is precisely why you should not idly scroll on your phone. Nothing good can come from scrolling mindlessly on your phone. Okay, let me just tell you, because now I have now involuntarily invested 3 days of my life to a random newfound obsession with this movie because I was not prepared, okay? I was not prepared for Tom Hardy in this smooth-talking, swagalicious gangster role. I didn't even know who Tom Hardy was, by the way, before I watched this movie. And then I looked it up on Wikipedia and I realized that he played Bane in Batman. Like, wow, just imagine the person that played Bane is the same actor that portrayed these twin London gangsters in the 60s. Like, that's a real actor, okay? Not that other people aren't, but that is like next level. So yeah, like Tom Hardy as Reggie and Ronnie Cray. I was just caught off guard, okay? I'm sorry that this is a very random tangent, but do you know, like, in my entire life, the amount of white boys that I have found attractive in my entire life, I can count on one hand. Cillian Murphy is actually one of them, which is very ironic because now he's also in a gangster related TV series. But I don't really like his look in the Peaky Blinders series. I don't like that haircut on him. Yeah, I know. I feel like this is TMI. I should not be saying this. On one hand, I can count the number of white boy actors that I actually found attractive. Do you guys want to guess who they are? No, don't do that. But I mean, do you want to guess though and give me some engagement? This is my bait that I'm throwing out, okay? I don't care. I'm shameless with it. I basically gave you 2 of the 5 right now, right here in this video. But no, what am I trying to say? I might be entering my gangster film era. It's that gangster love, gangster that just got me bugging. Elvis is still the best movie that I've seen in 2022. I stand by that, and I think Elvis is definitely has a special place in my heart. I already put it in my top 5, which is a big deal because when I tell you, there's probably one movie like every 10 years that comes along that actually makes it into the top 10, let alone top 5. So Elvis is one of those, but I just want to let you know that I might be entering my gangster era after watching that Legend film. And I can't believe I never heard this story before, because not only were they twin brother gangsters, they were also, like, one of them was a paranoid schizophrenic and he had a lot of mental problems. That one is Ronnie. And then Reggie is kind of like the more sane brother that breaks him out of asylum or something, and then they basically like terrorize the streets of London together. And if that wasn't enough, Ronnie was gay and Reggie was bisexual, I believe. Bisexual, gay, twin gangster brothers openly in the 60s. Kind of the feminine urge to stand, but like they murdered people though, like that was not okay. Tom Hardy though, what do you expect me to do? I can stand the movie, right? Because it's pretty much like a fictionalized account based on the true story of their lives, but they took a lot of liberties. I don't even know how we got here. It's like 5 a.m. Did I talk about makeup in this video? I think I'm gonna end the video now. Yeah, goodbye for now.